I'm tired as fuck, and this is StarDuels, 1991. Starcade 91, Return of the Mastodon. I like that name. From the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina, which I believe is not around anymore. Alright, since Starcade 90, Sting has set the record for most NWA World Title defenses in 1 year. Yeah, he's been going everywhere, taking on everyone, destroying everything. Obviously making him a phenom of NWA. All right, Ric Flair. Well, also he won the NWA Television Championship from Bobby Eaton on WCW Saturday Night. I'm just calling World Championship Wrestling Saturday Night. 5 months prior to Starcade 91, obviously making it more prestigious than it ever was before. I mean, if you go from Bobby Eaton to Ric Flair, Bobby Eaton was a great wrestler. There was no Ric Flair name-wise. Alright, also Jushin Liger defeated Brian Pillman in Japan to win the new NWA World's Junior Heavyweight Championship. I prefer the Junior Heavyweight name for sure. Cruiserweight name is just fucking lame. Oh, new slogan. It's the NWA is real as it gets, which, yeah, I stole from the UFC, but fuck them. This happened before then, technically. 91. Alright, in our opener, we get a match that I want to put a ton of build into. It's going to be the most violent, hardcore, out-of-control feud in NWA history, and it's Cactus Jack versus Abdullah the Butcher. I would have these guys being just brawls, no contests, double countouts, matches that never start, double DQs, everything in the book, them hitting referees, and whatever. Just out of control, these guys trying to kill each other, trying to prove who's the king of the deathmatch. You'd show footage from Japan and Puerto Rico, and footage of them brawling outside of TV, and you just really want to hype it up. Alright, so you have Cactus and Abdullah the Butcher at Clash of the Champions in a no disqualification match, and it goes back and forth, and they beat the hell out of each other. And there's blood everywhere, and they brawl in the back, and they don't come back. They just kick each other's ass in the street. So they had to throw out the match, and yeah, you kind of think, like, what the hell is going to happen? Then Cactus comes back later in the night, all bloodied, cuts a promo, saying that he's the king of the death match. And the only way to solve this is with Barbwire. Pulls out his bat, and then he challenges Abdullah the Butcher to a no-rope barbed wire match. Gonna be brutal. Abdullah the Butcher shows back up with a pitchfork, and they kind of stare each other down. And they said that they're, Cactus says, like, I'll see you at Starcade. It's kind of an acknowledgement. Here's the match. No rope barbed wire match. Cactus Jack versus Abdullah the Butcher. Yeah, this would have to be the bloodiest, most violent, horrific match in NWA history. First thing Jack does is pretty much just launch himself at Abdullah. Abdullah just crushes him like he ran into a concrete wall. Big T-side head for 10, 12 minutes with everyone getting thrown at the ropes or hit towards the ropes, but putting on the brakes. Maybe Cactus Jack slides between Abdullah's legs to avoid hitting the barbed wire. Anything like that. Alright, so eventually I would have the thumbtacks come out. Jack takes the bump on them. And then the first time the barbed wire comes into play, Abdullah the Butcher throws in Cactus Jack. But by the time he goes to splash Cactus Jack, Jack moves. Abby hits the barbed wire. And as soon as Abdullah is about, getting out, Cactus hits him with a Cactus clothesline. Sends himself over the top rope. Sends Abdullah the Butcher, crashing into the barbed wire ropes, which sends him to the outside. He breaks down the board's wire setup. Cactus drags him in, hits him with a pile driver, picks up the 1, 2, 3. That should just be violent. Cactus Jack would be established as like this hardcore icon. He's the everyman, only he could take 10 times the beating that every other man could take. And he's the winner and king of the Deathmatch. Cactus Jack is king of the Deathmatch. Keep that in mind. Alright, then we got to cool the crowd down, so we have a four-way dance between Ron Simmons, Dastardly, Dustin, Runnles, Bobby Eaton, and Scott Hall. Runnles picks up the victory here. Allows the crowd to kind of catch their breath, their wits back about them after that hardcore war. Alright, then we have Stunning Steve Austin versus Marvelous Mark Merrow. These two, they clicked in WWF, in WCW in real life, so why not here? I would have Austin with maybe a Gotch-style tombstone pile driver. That's like a cradle. Carl Gotch. Old school. Okay, then we have a big match. Liger versus Pillman. This feud's been building since they had their match back at Starcade, I believe it was '89. And in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they've been feuding. They've just been feuding all over. Liger won the title at the Japan NWA Super Show, the New Japan NWA Super Show. So, yeah, he kind of almost, you would think he won the feud, but it was really close. And Pillman gets Liger on WCW Saturday Night to agree to one more match, but if Liger loses, he can't challenge again. It's only fair. They've been feuding for like 2 years, so yeah. Pillman says he'll agree on one condition, and Liger gets his translator to accept the condition, and he's like, we're doing this Stampede style. He goes back, grabs out a ladder, sets it up, climbs on it, grabs the microphone and says, Stampede ladder match. Whoever climbs the ladder and gets the belt is the champion. That's obviously playing on the fact that the ladder match, I believe, originated in Calgary in Stampede. Okay, so Stampede ladder match for the NWA World's Junior Heavyweight Championship. Jushin Liger versus the technician Brian Pillman. Pillman wins after his sunset flip powerbomb off the ladder to Liger, but he holds on, climbs up, grabs the strap. Brian Pillman's your new champ. Yeah, I've got big plans for him in the future. Now, actually, the Junior Heavyweight Title is a big deal, but he's going to be a little bit higher up than that. Okay, so the next match would be about kind of like who's the dominant man, who's the real man. I would let Ravishing Rick Rude and Arn Anderson build their own match against each other, the United States Heavyweight Championship. I would have Rude win the belt, but they would do their own stuff because I know they could. If I was a booker, I'm not going to tell them how to do the job. I'm just going to tell them, go out there and kick ass. Alright, so Vader is returning for his first time to American soil since last year's Starcade, where he destroyed Stan Hansen. And, you think, like, how the hell are you going to build him up? Well, what I do is every time a WCW wrestler, including Vader, wrestles in Japan, I put it on TV on, like, Saturday night, their match. So Vader would be squashing these guys in, like, 5-6 minutes at the most. Like, big name, pretty big guys. And then finally at the big Super Show, he defeats Chono in, like, 10 minutes dominantly, and that obviously makes him look really good coming into his title match, which he gets by challenging Sting. He said, I've beaten everyone, I've destroyed everything in my path, now I'm coming for you. Now I'm coming for you, Sting. Sting obviously agrees because he's the fighting champion. He's got the record for most defenses in a year, and this is the end of the year, so why not get one more? Alright, so World Heavyweight Championship, Sting versus Vader. I would have this match, Sting, just nothing working for him really. Vader kicking his ass, beating him up, but then Vader gets overzealous, gets over violent, and he keeps Vader hammering him, and then punching him in the face, and headbutting Sting, and just busts him open, and he won't break. The referee gives him a 5 count, and he won't break, so he gives him another one, and he's like, no, you know what, this is over, and, ring the bell. So Vader kind of gives him a look, like over his shoulder, like, you shouldn't have done that. Grabs him by the collar and hits him with a spinning back fist. That ref's gone for 2 months. He's yeah. Sting, jumps back at Vader, tries to attack him. Vader kind of paws him off like a big grizzly, like a Kodiak bear, as JR would say. And eventually he hits a powerbomb off the apron, off the ring frame, to the commentator's table a few feet away below. Sting's decimated. Vader puts his foot on him, raises his Sting's title in the air, puts it on his chest and says, "I'm coming back for this. Who's the man?" Whatever. Vader's really pissed off that he lost, but at least he destroyed Sting, and Sting actually looks vulnerable. At least against Vader. Vader looks like a monster, and he arguably looks tougher now that he lost the match by DQ than he did going into the match, which is insane. And it would work. All right, then we have the World Tag Team Championships, NWA World Tag Team Championship. Barry Windham and Lex Luger challenging the Steiner brothers, the champs. Windham and Luger win. I would maybe do, I would definitely have Windham pin Rick Steiner. Windham needs to pin because he's been going for those tag titles. It's kind of like my thing. He's tried a couple of partners now. So he finally wins. All right, now you may ask, why wasn't Sting Vader the main event? Well, one reason is it went to DQ, and another reason is it's Charlotte, North Carolina, probably near 25,000 seat arena, and you got Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat on your roster. That's the main event. What build would you build? You could just show clips. You hype up both guys. You show their career. You have Flair do promos. You have Steamboat and Flair just kind of hate. It's kind of, they're not really, they don't hate each other, but there's a big competitive rivalry. This match goes 35, 40 minutes before Steamboat scores the submission with the double chicken wing and becomes the new NWA World Television Champion. And that's Starrcade 91, and it's a crying baby. All right, I'm out.